Yo!
Yayo Talk Show!
Dreamin'! Don't give it up, Molly.
Dreamin'!
Don't give it up, Marco.
Dreamin'!
Don't give it up, Kaden.
Dreamin'!
Al's name didn't fit. They talk about the show this group of four friends been going for a million years, there's no end. Watching every arc and saga, no sleep. It's the king of anime, 1,000 episodes deep. Yayo Talk Show! Talking about One Piece. It's the name of the podcast. We're not on Vine. Yayo Talk Show. Talking about One Piece. Welcome aboard the most chaotic One Piece podcast on the Grand Linternet, the Yayo Talk Show. Let's introduce you to the crew. First, the captain of the CrUno Pirates, Molly D. Simpy.
Yo!
Dab. Wild theorist, Kaden Jensen.
Hello.
The resident laugh doctor, Al McClelland.
It is I.
And-
Continue.
And me, the brave warrior of the sea, the internet's Mark B. Donica. Welcome to this very special episode of the Yayo Talk Show, where we're going to start talking about the movies, starting with the Clockwork Island Adventure, which actually fits in really well with us talking about different storylines, because this movie came out just before Reverse Island, Whiskey Peak, Alabasta. It came out right before that, and it even gave us our first glimpses of colorized designs of certain characters from the comics. But just overall, in general thoughts about this movie, Molly. Do you have any memories of this movie? What do you think about this one?
Before I get to that, I will say that we are very much aware that this is the second movie on the long list of One Piece movies. We have actively decided not to watch the first movie, which is One Piece the movie.
I mean, you all did. I'm still going to go back and watch it because
I'm
a completionist.
No, we've
Morbid
already
curiosity.
That's how it
hold.
works.
Everyone hold. We've discussed this previously that the group has anyway. CrUno has made this decision. We are watching certain movies and going to talk about those movies that aren't necessarily in. They're not going to be back-to-back movies, but we have decided that maybe later down the line we could do some type of drunken movie watch for the movies that Mark, Al, and I have decided aren't worth the current brain function that we have and or time.
We only have the one brain cell. Come on.
Better
Right.
impaired.
There's just movies that at least Mark and I, Al, you have said that this is the first One Piece movie you've watched, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Mark and I have I think we are of the same opinion, but we have adamant opinions about which One Piece movies are worth watching as a crew. That we want to get Caden to first, and then, God forbid we catch up to One Piece, and we need more things to do. We will mayhaps go back, maybe do a little drunken watchy. There's opportunity for fun times with the rest of the movies that we are skipping over. So look forward to that. Anyway, this movie,
or demand it to happen sooner with your support.
Yeah,
Right here on Anchor.
So we are discussing the Clockwork Island Adventure movie, which is the second movie in the One Piece movie series trilogy.
How many movies are there again?
I think there's 13 or 14 at this point.
I
The
think
14 movie trilogy.
14.
Yeah. Trilogy. So yeah, this movie came out so heckin' long ago. We've previously established that
Molly, it was 20 years ago.
So like yesterday.
No, I mean 20 years in a month.
20 years in a month, almost. Yeah, that's pretty close though. That's 20
Mhm.
years ago. Holy. Blah.
But we've previously established that I have been a One Piece fan almost since the beginning. Whenever it was brought to America, which I think was 2003.
No, that is more than one Luffy ago.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh no.
More than one Luffy ago.
If we're measuring time in Luffy's.
But yeah, the nostalgia factor with this movie is my mom used to like hunt exports on eBay for me because She's a very good mom. She cared about my hobbies, and my hobbies were consuming anime and manga at a gross rate.
Molly's mom wading into the dark web to get her.
I mean, probably a lot of canceled credit cards.
Molly, what was your opinion when within the first 5 minutes there was a butt?
So I probably had watched this movie for the first time when I was 14, but leading up to this movie, I had watched Ranma 1/2 and Slayer's the movies, which very much in line with the type of imagery in this movie. It's a lot of booby mechanics and half-naked women shots and just
Kids.
Well, it's fan service for no reason, because it's not like her superpowers are enhanced by her being naked. It's just, nope, she's naked.
90s
You
anime
bring up a
was an
good point.
interesting time.
Because everything we know about Paramecias at this point is that they recreate their whole image with their whatever their element or whatever of choice is. But she was like, no, I want you to see this.
This
Yeah.
is important for the quest.
I have very strong opinions about anime movies for this specific reason. But and in terms of whoever asked the question, I don't know if it was Al or Mark, but I had already been pretty dead to seeing anime boobied figures by
Be-boobied?
that. Yeah, but
I believe was the term we came up with.
yes, by that time that it didn't even occur to me that there was something quote unquote inappropriate happening unless somebody walked into my bedroom while I was watching it. You know what I mean? It's like
You get the secondhand embarrassment. Like, no, I'm not.
It's that having to explain to your parents who and what and why Team Rocket. and them just not
Literally
getting
everybody's gay awakening, Team Rocket.
Yeah.
If not one, then the other. If not the other, then both.
But I had been pretty. It was, and I'm still trying to form a thought about this whole thing. It was, it's like early teens is very informative years, but I can't. It just made me more.
I mean, Honey Queen definitely be a thought, though, right?
Yeah, it's just it's in my experience, it just made me more desensitized to naked form, right? Like by the time I got to college and we were doing figure drawing, like Nikki figure drawing, it's just doesn't even register on my brain radar, It's just the setting and everything. But it's watching that kind of stuff, I'm kind of dead inside. But yeah, if somebody had walked in the room and it was the point where they're the shot, the down shot where you see just her ass cheeks poking out of the
giant hot tub teacup thing,
trying to validate and or explain myself out of that situation is probably when it would start registering oh yeah, okay. But so I watched this movie I think when I was 14 for the first time off of a vaguely official, but also vaguely probably pirated DVD my mom bought off eBay. And yeah, I both remembered and didn't remember a lot of this movie.
Can I give y'all the alternate title I came up with?
Mm-hmm.
How much HP do Sanjay's feet have? The movie.
Listen, okay. We're gonna
important question.
There's so much about this movie that I want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But Mark, you were saying?
I was saying about asses? No, it was more so. I don't necessarily. I remember watching this movie back when I first got into One Piece in high school and college, but I don't necessarily.
Again, not talking about how long ago that was.
Nope, not at all. But it was just more of a. Oh yeah, I remember that, and I remember. I think the only thing that I can recall is the villains' designs being cool and unique, and why did they use a movie for the whole family of cards idea? Why
Well, it's not
did
canon,
they
so it
use that
doesn't
in a
matter.
movie?
This is all not this like so true to most forms with anime movies. None of this is freaking canon. Nothing
Mhm.
matters. The stakes don't
Except for the
exist
king gun. That's a cannon.
except for the what?
The king gun.
The king cannon?
King of the guns.
The king of the guns. So I'm gonna kind of like go over this, and I'll jump in when I miss something or when you want to add something to it. So the plot of this movie
Yes.
is the Straw Hat Pirates, which at this point is just Luffy, Nami, Zoro, Sanji, and Usopp. No Chopper, and no Robin, and no Frankie, because Frankie
And
is
no
joined.
Polly.
Oh, by the way, I am at. Oh gosh,
Well, that doesn't necessarily matter,
I know,
because we're
but
not.
people are
This is
gonna
all
say
exists
things.
outside of canon.
I know, but people are gonna say things. You know what? Next episode, I'll tell everybody
Yeah,
where.
because also when this comes out versus when we're recording, you're probably going to be a lot farther than you are.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm great. Great. Good. Fantastic. Okay.
But this
So
movie, yeah,
plot
this
of this
movie
movie
is
is they're just chilling and they're just hanging out, and movie literally opens up and the Going Merry is sailing away. Everybody's minding their own business on the beach, having fun and everything like that. And Luffy's just like, Going Merry's pretty cool. Look at it go. Yay, Going Merry. It's just like, wow, he really abandoned the brain cell immediately.
yep,
Mhm.
yep.
And
And
nobody notices anything.
they never learn the lesson to not leave the keys in the boat.
Right, of course. So the Straw Hat Pirates end up trying to chase down their boat with this tiny little swan boat. They come across these two brothers, thief brothers, and
Akisu and Barodo, which Barodo brother.
Naruto.
Baruto,
Naruto.
Yeah, yeah.
Baruto,
Naruto and Baruto are like they come across them in the ocean. It's
Baruto.
it's a very very simple plot, but I think the thing that they
Yes.
needed to get the crew interested was like pure and something that tracks with the series. I don't think
Yeah,
this is
no,
something that could exist in canon but doesn't.
right. This
Mm.
initial this setup is definitely got somebody stole our boat. We're gonna track them down. Something. Similar things have happened in canon to that degree in a few shapes and forms at this point, but they team up with these thief brothers, um and they start hearing a little bit of story from them, and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, well, you don't want to go there because and hilariously named the Trump Pirates are coming in, and they're just like, they're super deadly, you're never gonna beat them. And then of course Luffy brain ticks on and goes, okay, I'm gonna be king of the pirates, so I'm gonna beat the shit out of these people.
Can
And
I?
then out of nowhere, Honey Queen and what was it?
Bojack.
Bojack show up. Honey Queen and Bojack show up, and Bojack is just like, "Pop quiz, hotshot. Who's gonna be king of the pirates?" And Luffy's just like, "Me? That's a
What
stupid question. What are you, an idiot? You fool? You dumbass? How dare you?" They're just like, "No, Bear King is." And then Luffy's just like, "Okay, well now I know who my target is. I was gonna kill everybody here, but I'll just go after this guy, and you guys are ancillary on the way there." And the entire time, Honey Queen is naked in this scene, just completely naked
In a bath.
in a bath, which made me a little confused until I realized what her fruit was, which is the Toro Toro no Mi, which means she's syrup. She's not water. I was just like, is she water
Hmm.
or is she something else? But Toro Toro no Mi would have to be because of Toro Toro is it's the onomatopoeia for like syrupy consistency. So it's like that kind of
I think her name is an allusion to like queen's honey,
yeah,
like a
right.
honeybee.
So she's very like it took me a minute. It took me actually till the end of the movie. I'm just like, oh, she's not water. She's like goo.
Gross.
The gooey Nomi.
Yeah.
Oh, oh, they'll do it.
So the thief brothers ship gets blown to bits, and they all make their way to Clockwork Island, which is where
Well,
the Trump Pirates are hooked up with. But
Nami
there's
got kidnapped. Nami got kidnapped.
Oh, that's right. Nami got kidnapped because
Very important.
she's hot, I guess. And let's continue to objectify women and then sell her off as a bride to
For-
Bear King.
For
Captain
some,
Bear King is looking for a bride.
Right, but we only find that out after she gets
Yes.
kidnapped.
And for some reason, because this is pre-Alabasta, Nami does not know how to fight for some reason, even though we've previously established that she has like a bow staff like during Arlong's arc, but for whatever reason.
Yeah,
it's
she
like,
also like has she does this. This takes place after Arlong. It's very
Yeah.
very obvious that this is like, okay, it's after Arlong. We're taking a nice little break. So she's already got stuff.
yeah, but no,
But
it's
then, like half like at the end of the movie, she's got to be fair, she does pull out a broom, which again hilarious, to fight, and she does that in one scene and loses immediately. It wasn't even a
Well,
contest.
It's like because their ship was stolen at the beginning, everybody's stuff, like
Right,
all of
everybody's
their
nerfed.
+1 everything is gone.
Right.
Sanji doesn't have his shoes, Zoro doesn't have his swords, Usopp has
No, Usopp doesn't have anything
yeah.
because it was such a big deal to get it back at the end.
But they never established that Nami gets her bow staff back. It's just because this is a 90s or early 2000 anime movie. The girl gets kidnapped.
Oh, look, the damsel in distress thing.
But
That's
like
cute.
it's plus because not only that, she is in a wedding dress and this guy wants to marry her.
Right,
and
because all
he's
of their stuff got stolen, and the only thing
Yeah.
that was available to them
a
was
costume rental.
it was a costume rental thing. And the only person who's in their correct outfit is Luffy because Luffy can't swim. So why would Luffy be wearing a bathing suit? Everybody else was wearing a bathing suit.
It's like the writer saw the image of Nami at Arlong Park with the hat on and went, "All right, I got the character."
That's pretty much it. Like Luffy gives her the hat and then just like, okay.
Crying woman with hat. Got it.
That's it.
It's everything in this movie is the best way to describe what it was like being a straight cis woman in the 2000s who couldn't watch or read something without having to have a ship in mind. And it just so aggressively fed both at the time my favorite ships, which was Sanji and Nami and /or Luffy and Nami. And both of this movie has like instances of both that just fed my whatever you want to call it, my inner headcanon, my
Your
thrive.
OTP. Come on.
Yeah, my thrive for my OTP basically as like
The will of simp.
Yeah.
We all have our our ships that we like.
Now, as a tired 31-year-old woman who works in animation and
Still has ships.
writes stories, but it's like I've aged like fine wine, and I really don't have a preference on. I'm not so ride or die on ships as I once was as a teenager.
You gotta diversify that portfolio.
Yeah, if anything, this movie made me more exhausted to the content that I once was so enthralled by as a child.
Can I read a quote from about this point in the movie that I wrote down?
Yes.
Ever since the Trump siblings have occupied the island, life has been hell.
Mood. What a mood. Yeah.
Like, especially like Ivanka and Eric, they come and they steal Nami and send her back. Sorry, I'm confused. What are we talking about?
So most of this entire thing is when they get to Clockwork Island, which is the whole like the stronghold of the Trump Pirates, which I really want to stop calling them that. But they get there, and the first thing they decide to do is, hey, let's do some shopping because we're in these clothes and it's ridiculous. They go shopping, and everybody gets new clothes and everything like that. Except for Sanji doesn't get
any
fucking
damn shoes. The
which
idiot.
which he literally already had trouble with this. He already had trouble with this getting up to the town. He had his feet injured. It's like, so you'd think the first thing he would do is like, okay, I can still walk around in this, tuxedo and everything like that. I need to buy shoes. This island just has like a vendetta against like a normal pair of shoes,
You
I guess.
guys,
Time
you
a stranger runs up and says, "Give me your shoes so I can save the island." Like, what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna give the man my shoes.
you guys,
Just to leave
it's
me alone?
I
it's
mean, it's like, I'm gonna save everybody. I need your shoes. It's like, all right, I don't really have any
Please take
evidence
them
to
and
prove
stop
that you're not
talking to me.
going to.
you
Take
guys,
them.
it's an island, okay? It's summer weather, all right? They only have sandals year round.
Okay, but Baratier was a floating was a floating restaurant and
But
Sanji had
Kaden,
shoes.
that's a restaurant, all right? You have to have closed toe shoes in the kitchen.
I guess we should also specify the geography of this island. It's a spire with the island sitting on top
It
of
is
this
a
really
huge,
tall
giant
staircase.
corkscrew. See, they call it Clockwork Island because of something that happens at the very end.
One
But
has
it's
this
like-
big gear that's like
Right, it's
rotating
got a-
around the outside
right.
edge.
But it's more of like a corkscrew island than a Clockwork
Yeah.
Island.
Yeah. Snail Spiral Island.
Unfortunate.
That didn't catch on.
No, not
Well,
not quite.
Their designs are also like the guys from Super Mario Sunshine.
Wow.
The one part of
move.
like Delfino Island that's like I can't remember what their names are now, but it's it's like the shell, the very specific shell.
Not the
Conch shell?
Piantas, the other ones.
Not the Piantas.
Is it like a Noki?
Noki Noki Bay? The
Yeah.
Nokis?
I think
Yeah.
it's the Nokis. Yeah. It's very similar in that respect.
The Nokia?
No, not Nokia.
No.
The
It's
phone?
a TM.
Just the Noki.
Noki. Yeah,
Noki.
they
Yeah,
have like little
N-O-K-I.
shell ears and little like shell clothes and stuff like that, and they're just kind of like,
But that's not as
Blobby
catchy
people.
as Clockwork Island Adventure.
I don't know, Noki Bay is pretty cool.
But that's already taken. They didn't want to get sued by Nintendo. Noki Bay.
I was going to say that Akisu's parents look kind of like the Professor's Oak.
Yeah, oh
Seriously.
yeah.
Professor's Oak, yeah.
Oh my god. So Caden, I just realized they could have been like Nokis and Noki Bay because Super Mario Sunshine didn't come out until a year later.
Boom.
Oh,
Suck it,
no.
One Piece did it first.
Feels so bad. Feels
Feels
bad.
bad, man.
Wow. They could have had that.
So they get to this island, and it is at this point, once they get to the town after they climb a bunch of stairs,
Which are
which
booby traps.
they
Trap
kind of
laden
yada
stairs, yeah.
yada over it. They're just like, these stairs are super booby trapped, and they did like 2 booby traps,
Well,
They had
and
to
then they
save,
yada yada the rest of the stairs.
they had to save the
water,
money.
a spike wall, a big rolling ball, and then Zoro punches the ground and makes an aquifer that hides all the water, and then they run
Yeah,
across the top.
Like, what the hell? I've
They had
never
to-
seen Zoro do anything like that.
Kaden, they had to save all the money for the end for those very quick action shots, but they just put in like a little bit of spice to like enhance the danger.
So Zoro, no swords. Usopp, no slingshot. Sanji, no shoes. And Luffy, fine.
Yeah. Luffy, no hat.
Luffy, no hat. That's true. Luffy, no hat. But everything about, like, I don't know, like there's some this movie is such a, I don't know, it's such a nothing burger.
Yes.
You know, is the best way to put it. It's like, well, this would have been cooler if they put more time and thought into this. Like, if Oda wrote this, it probably would have been a little bit
Yeah.
a little bit
And
better.
this had to be a 55-minute movie because you could see
Right.
the different places where they could have, not necessarily stretched, but given more time to certain story elements.
Right.
Akisu's parents don't even have names.
No.
They're
They're
listed in the
Akisu's
credits as
parents.
Akisu's mom and Akisu's dad.
Right, which they don't even say that Akisu's dad
that-
is his dad in the freaking movie. And he
No.
just is like, "Oh, is that my mother?" And they have this whole thing, and the dad's just sitting there, just like, "And I am also here, I suppose."
I sure wish I had a connection.
Yeah. Wait, we're both
doesn't even-
alive? Only one can have a relationship with our
He
child.
doesn't even get emotional or anything. He's just like, "Neat, a child." That's all that happens.
It's interesting, like the narrative. There's a lot of plots that are intertwined, but we as a viewer do not get invested in anything that's happening aside from wanting the Straw Hats to rescue Nami.
So here's the thing that like this whole thing, like it's a whatever, right? Like the movie, it's like guess what? The Straw Hats come out, they win, they get Nami back, they beat, what's his face, Bear King and everything like that.
Mhm.
Of course they do. And it turns out that Akisu, who was abandoned and was found adrift at sea by Borodo, is actually from Clockwork Island, and the people who made the giant clockwork mechanics of everything, and this giant, seemingly invaluable diamond clock
Mhm.
was made by Akisu's parents. None of that comes into play, and none of it matters.
I mean,
There's
None of,
also-
he
not a
repairs
part
the
of-
music, that little wind-up windmill thing. Like, he takes out 3
Right,
screwdrivers,
but for
and he
what?
starts,
To what end?
so that you can wind it up and the windmill thing works again. I
Right.
don't know.
So the windmill thing's like, it's like, we figured it out. And it's like,
Well, there's that throwaway comment of that he can fix anything and he doesn't even have to practice. It's like, I think he's practicing by repairing the thing right now.
yeah,
But
no,
anyway.
that's kind of, but
Because we all know being a repairman is genetic, not
Yeah.
but there's some scenes that keep popping up in my mind, in the back of my mind as we're going over this is, every scene with Honey Queen is hilarious, but again, I'm desensitized just like Molly is. It's like, oh look, it's anime fan service. It's like you can't shock me. You can't
you
surprise me with
thought
this stuff.
you thought your thirst content could get us. We are well hydrated.
Yeah, no, well, Nico Robin's been keeping me hydrated for a while, but
Sated.
yeah. But there's some weird things in here, like starting with the fact that each one of the they do this a lot in One Piece. It's like there are 5 people here, so there's one for each character.
Yes. Yeah.
Honey Queen is obviously the Nami of the group, even though she at this point can actually fight and is probably one of the stronger ones, despite not being the brightest of the bunch.
Mhm.
There's Bojack, who we see again when Honey Queen comes in, and that's Sanji's rival because he's spiky and hurts Sanji's feet.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That's it. That's all. There's Pin Joker, which admirably they tried. Like, I'm gonna say this, they tried. Because
Mhm.
Pin Joker's just like, don't you remember me, Roronoa Zoro? And Zoro's just like, no. Nope, I don't know. You
Well,
gave me
he-
the scar. And it's like, and Zoro's just like,
Mhm.
still no, I have no idea who you are. And they have this like fight, and it's actually kind of nice. I like the fact that Pin Joker is a fencer versus Sanji's 3 swords, or Zoro's 3 sword style. I like that. I think that's neat. I think that's a cool dynamic, and I would like to see that like pulled apart, because usually in things with Zoro, it's it's just like at first it's like, oh wow, he's got 3 swords, and then it's like, I have 8 swords. It's like, oh, I
Okay,
have
but that
4 swords.
the octopus guy, that was a specific gimmick. Like, come
Okay,
on.
but 4 swords with Cop Usopp? Come on.
Oh yeah, Cops Up. That's right.
Copsop.
Copsop's got 4 sword style.
Rounded corners turned off.
I like the idea of a single sword fighting the 3 swords. This is like, I don't need any fancy gimmicks to do this. I am confident in my one particular type of blade. And again, it's a fencing style sword, and it's a different fighting style. And I like that. I like that I would love to see that like expanded upon more in Zoro's kind of like combative nature. Is just like, he's so sure of himself all the time. And we did see a little bit of that in the main series, where it's just like, hey, I've got one big sword and I'm the best swordsman in the sea. So
Mhm.
I like that. I like that dynamic.
Liked Pin Joker's character quirk.
I like the
Yes.
character quirk. Yes.
Where he gets idioms wrong every time.
I love that. I love that. That was so fun. It's just like, again, there's a lot of like personality in these characters, except for one character who has no personality and is disgusting, and I hate him.
Can I also make a point to point out with this character too? Up until this point, the Trump Pirates, which is like the Trump card, they're all supposed to be named after parts of a deck. So we got the King, the Queen, Jack, Joker, and then Skunk one.
Skunk one.
Why
they
couldn't
can't-
you?
We couldn't name him Ace.
Why not?
Well, so
because
here's
Ace is about to be teased at the end credits of this.
aces also have two values depending on what game you're playing. So referring to an ace as an ace could be the top card in the deck, or it can be all the way down at the bottom as a 1.
Where this guy should have been.
Exactly.
Which he is. That's
why
where he
he's
is.
1.
Skunk one. But in the most disgusting scene in One Piece
Oh
so
my
far
God.
for me.
Yeah.
Literally, there is a scene. So Sanji's over here kicking metal balls with spikes on them, destroying his feet. Zoro is stealing swords and ripping the ground up just to fight everybody.
What's
And
the
then
next
there's-
sacrifice?
And it's like Nami gets kidnapped, and Usopp sucks farts.
Yeah. So Skunk One has this backpack full of gas that he uses to propel himself around and poison people.
Can I upset everyone?
Why stop now?
When did we not start that? That's the point.
I'm really weighing if I want to say it or not.
No,
I mean, you have to now.
Isn't this Usopp does, I think, what the kids refer to as tossed salad?
no, he does not. He does
Yeah.
not toss a salad. That would
Yeah. I knew you guys
No.
would be upset. I knew you guys
Well,
would be
I
upset.
think we're more upset because you got the terminology wrong.
Oh, I did? I'll have to research this.
Save search off.
Maybe
We're
not.
not.
Oh,
We're not.
God.
No.
This is a family show. This is a
I
this is a 4 kids show.
I knew everybody would be upset. We might have to cut this.
No, keep it in.
No.
Witness this shame.
I have to Google now.
Listen. Literally, I say this in no uncertain terms. Usopp puts his lips
Sucks fart.
around
Yeah.
the end of the backpack, not on Skunk One's butt.
That
We're
nozzle,
being
though.
very
The nozzle.
right on the nozzle, just like chomp down on it,
Are we
and
nozzling?
Skunk One just unloads, like keeps clicking the go button.
Fight or flight releases everything he's got.
And Usopp, much like
Wild
Luffy,
animal.
with the gum balloon, inflates full of the fart.
So look, go, same
look,
mind,
so
same brain.
look. So look.
Yeah, the Usopp handled a poison that could kill people in such quantities just to show that he wasn't going to run away. Like, yes, this is a big comedy moment, but that's also all right. Okay, go ahead and laugh.
He had
Person
to-
who talked about tossing salad,
I'm still laughing about that. Is the problem.
as you should.
The point that you're trying to make here, Mark, is that he sucked farts to make a point to an 8-year-old boy.
Yeah, you're
Yes,
right.
that's exactly what he did. It's like, hey, kid, you need to be. It's like, I'm the
This is what men
strong
do.
warrior of the sea, Usopp, and I'm going to suck farts.
This
It's
is
like,
what men do.
okay.
It's very
This is-
upsetting.
this-
You guys, we're concerned. I'm concerned.
Bravery is being afraid to suck farts, but sucking farts anyway.
Staring farts in the face and going more.
It is not the absent of fear. It is doing it in the face of fear.
But also, he continues to propel upwards. Like he's forming a seal on the nozzle, the only form of propulsion for Skunk One, and he rockets up to the top of the castle that's like hundreds of feet above them.
Well, I'm sure it's like releasing out his nose.
It's got to be coming out somewhere, all right?
He wasn't.
Yeah.
He wasn't.
Gotta
He
be
didn't
coming
pinch
out
that.
somewhere.
He didn't pinch his nose. So
Ugh. Blah.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
glad we're all in agreement.
I feel like the 2 times as a 14-year-old I would be concerned about somebody walking in would be Honey Queen in the bath
Both
scene.
butt related, actually.
Yeah, it's the Honey Queen scene, and then
Seeing the
this
butt, and then the
scene.
implication of butt.
Seeing Usopp's mouth on the butt nozzle probably really would have upset my parents.
It upset me. Usopp deserved better. I was not okay with this.
But darn it, no one can ever accuse him of not being brave.
He's a big, strong man, and he sucks farts like what?
He does what he has to do for his friends, all right? And I respect that.
I'm going to say this right now. Loyal viewers, if you are... if you're
Mm-hmm.
No, I can't finish.
Okay.
Not even gonna. No, I'm gonna end that before I even.
Not even once.
Not even once. Suck farts
Nothing you guys
never
like.
again. Not even once.
You let Caden walk away from it, but you guys made me say my thing.
Listen. Usopp was the man who walked in and said, "I'm gonna suck farts once."
No,
That is
Y'all
what
better
happened.
remember this.
Usopp's the guy. who
Remember
walked
this,
in-
and then it's not canon, and then everybody forgets about it. And Usopp's just like, "Hey, do you remember that time I sucked farts for everybody?" And everybody's like,
Usopp died for our sins. No, Usopp is the guy who walked in and said, "I'll suck farts," and everybody said, "You don't have to suck farts," and he said,
Nobody's
"But I'm
asking you to
gonna."
suck farts.
"I'm gonna do it
But
anyway.
he
I'll
said,
prove a
"I'm a
point.
gonna. I'm a gonna."
I'm gonna suck farts."
So
You think he
okay.
woke up and was like, "Today's a fart sucking day"?
Oh,
I think we
could
spent way
tell.
too much time on Usopp sucking farts. More time than is actually dedicated in the movie.
it bothers me.
I mean,
Bothers me because it came out of nowhere. And here's the thing. Here's the thing that really bothers me. Okay,
Mhm.
we have explicitly said stated in canon many times, Usopp is a normal person, normal human being. How did he gum balloon the fart sucking? How did he inflate like that? We haven't seen that in anything. You can't just give him, the gum fruit powers just to suck farts. That's not fair to Usopp.
So,
Usopp didn't do
Caden,
anything bad.
Caden, what if we did though?
No.
Have you tried? Have you tried? All I'll say to Caden's rant is that I am of the same mind, but I've been on the internet long enough that
I've seen a fart sucker too.
well,
in an anime context.
when I am firm,
Love the qualifier there.
when I am
I
firm,
think it was in Chobits or something.
when I am of firm opinion about something, oftentimes the internet says, "Well, yeah, check this out," and it's like a TikTok of someone's bro inflating from their
No.
fart gas.
No, I don't want that.
Anyway, at this point,
I've been on the internet for a long time too, and I've seen my fair share of I don't want to see that or talk about it ever again. But still, I don't want the brave warrior of the sea to be like, throat deep on a fart nozzle, all right?
Hayden, how do you think I feel at the young age of 14? And I have had this knowledge for almost 20 years.
Did you recognize that as an moment for you?
I mean, well, I'm 14, Caden. All right, I know that farts are stinky. Okay, I know that they're not good. I know I wouldn't want to be chomping on one.
I see. Molly's watching the movie. Looks up at a poster on the wall. It says "fart" and the equal sign crossed out. Not good.
I have to remind myself. Right. Don't make me. Point
wait a minute. Is this good? Looks at the wall.
Not
no,
point
it's
at the
not.
sign again.
I remember.
I just came up with an interesting an interesting concept that may or may not be anything mindful. Talking about the ripe young age at which some people may be watching this and taking in this content. So we have our main antagonist, Bear King, who
how old is Bear King? Do we know?
No, I don't think so. But
he looks to be about 40.
First of all, he looks like Wapol, which we haven't seen in the anime yet.
Yes.
Which is like his hair has got Wapol vibes to me. But he has a card motif. There's not much to him that, like, from a character design standpoint, that suggests bear. So my question is, do people growing up seeing this, watching this, this is their first thing of seeing, this is their first sort of, okay, this is a Bear King, and then they Google it later in life and they get a complete awakening of a different kind.
I didn't even put that together.
Can I just
Molly?
he is wearing a bear hat.
That's
there's
it,
there's a
though.
little bear.
There's just a little bit to
He
help.
decided something to make him go, you know what? I'm a bear.
I'm a
They
bear.
I'm a
They
bear. I'm
saw-
a bear. I'm a bear.
Mark, they saw your thought process.
Yeah, you're
and
right.
they were like, we have to future-proof this. Give him a hat.
Yeah.
And it's like a little teddy bear hat. So
Makes
again,
it pretty.
like coming on the back end of that conversation, you've got a dude named Bear King, who old guy. He's an older gentleman. Nami's 18.
Mhm.
There's a lot of like,
Technically,
no.
I guess
No.
what I'm saying is there like the design of the Bear King of the Trump pirates. I don't want to keep saying that, but like
Oh, you
it's
don't want to say Bear King? Why do you not want to
I'll
say
say
Bear King?
till my dying day, and I probably will.
But
But
you don't want to say Trump
it's
Pirates?
They'll be
not
scratched
that.
on the tombstone.
But I feel like there are so many different motifs in these villains. They just threw all of them at them. It's like, okay, let's do an army, let's do playing cards, let's do animal theming, because each of them have like, there's skunk, there's honeybee, there's pig, and there's bear. And also, never mind, Joker totally throws that out of whatever.
No. He's Joker's got this like bird aesthetic because he throws
I guess like a
feathered
peacocky type
stuff.
of thing.
He's peacocking a little bit.
So
Feather cowl.
like there are all of these different motifs and looks and stuff. It's like, just settle on something. Now we got to think of this guy as a bear.
it is
Yeah.
honestly a huge pet peeve of mine when it's very blatantly obvious that the character designer for that project is a different character designer than the original character designer. And I feel like this is a good example of that. But I will say, in terms of probably when they were making this movie, what was already out, manga and anime wise, Joker is the one that looks the most cohesive because they probably had reference from Buggy's crew
Yeah,
And
I feel that.
Kuro.
and Kuro.
In Kodo, yeah. I want to say that, and when I heard that it's like, oh, it's going to be playing card themed, I immediately thought Royal Flush Gang from DC Comics,
Oh,
Yeah,
so
me
much
too.
cooler.
and
Yeah,
then
me
I
too.
saw these characters, and I'm just like, well, they're all right, I guess.
You compare Ace 1 to the DC Ace, and you're just like, nope, no thank
Yeah,
you.
no, I think probably, and this like, I like Honey Queen specifically for the fact that she is exactly that trope. Like, she knows she's the kind of like character, and I love those types of characters. She's useless and just
Yes.
naked for half the movie, and she's made out of goo, I guess.
Useless, naked, and goo.
Yeah, useless naked goo. Just love the so many
Thank you,
adjectives.
Molly. Thank you for that.
Just join
I
me
like
in my side
rent-free.
podcast.
Rent
like-
free.
I like that. I like her energy because she's a fun character. Like, she's whatever.
She
Again,
is whatever.
there's a lot of like this movie is entirely whatever.
Yes.
Like, my review of this is like, it's alright. It was an okay way to spend an hour.
Kaden Jensen review on what, Yelp? It just says whatever.
Yeah, it's whatever. It's okay. It's all right.
Well, I mean,
It-
for the concept of being gooey, like she's just defeated by Nami with the
Yes.
Put her in a
jar.
jar. That's it. Where do you put honey? Put it in a jar. Done. Good.
Done.
Got it.
Mhm.
Logic.
Solved.
And
did
then
have any more money to spend on animation for fight scenes.
right.
so.
And then Bear King has this whole thing of like, what was it? The Kachi
Canon?
Kachi no Mi? The like
Mhm.
he's like he's hard, which
He's
a
stoned.
hard Bear King. I don't
hate it.
want it. I hate everything about anyway.
Look, everybody has things that they enjoy, and we're not coming down on that.
No, but
But
anyway.
also,
But the reason I don't like it is because, at this point I've seen Water 7 and I've seen, Annie's Lobby, and I'm just like, this is just like a worse version of Hard Body.
mhm.
Like,
Yeah,
this
correct.
is just a way worse version of that. And this is supposed to be a devil fruit? And it's like, you suck. You suck, Bear King.
This is
Nobody
the-
likes your hard body, Bear King.
well,
Nobody likes
I mean, I don't know about nobody.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's an app for people. Anyway,
Molly.
that's the thing I love about One Piece, though, with this devil fruit narrative, because we oftentimes see, more often than not, we see an incredibly useless devil fruit But Oda and /or the character he has designated that character to have, most times have in their lifetime have found very creative ways to use it, like weaponize it basically. So like Luffy, I mean, they made like there's a whole bit about how useless he was as a rubber man. Like, and then, he's our main protagonist. Yeah, he's our main protagonist. There's a lot of that in this show that I love. And it as much as I love and or hate it when they give it to a different creator to do something with it, it does give the movies these over-the-top anime type plots that are still in line with the narrative of One Piece.
This movie, let's cap off with the finale of this movie before we like get too far into like tearing it apart just one more time. So they get up there, they get to the ship, which turns out that the Thief brothers actually stole the ship as part of a way to like draw them into this whole situation, which literally that's the plot of the movie. It's like, we needed you to go to this island, so we stole your ship.
Can I just like add really quickly to these like nothing plots that are happening around these big plots? There are so many times in the movie where what's his name?
Boruto.
Not
I'm gonna call him Boruto.
We're gonna get sued. We can't talk about that one. But there's so many times where he says he just makes a statement, which in an anime movie, it's mostly just trying to convey information to the audience. So if somebody just randomly has all these tourist facts about an island, the viewer is not going to blink at them, directly looking into the camera and being like, what a beautiful place to vacation. Did you know that their main export is strawberries? Because that'll probably be a plot point later. But in this movie, whenever we are getting some sense of additional knowledge about what's happening, every single time Zoro gets so sus. And it's like this weird thing later that it's like we as the viewer were supposed to be like, oh, we should have known when he knew about this island and this and that. And like because Zoro stared at him for having that knowledge and made
Zoro has really good passive perception, but doesn't know how to use it.
He is a detective, but
he has incredibly high wisdom, low intelligence.
He's specifically that one panel of that Batman comic where he's shouting at the city, "Where's the Joker?"
He knows exactly where he is, but he doesn't know how he got there or how to get out.
So Boruto ate the fourth wall fruit and just stares at the audience. Is like, please pay attention to this particular line because it'll come back later. Okay, just so long as you got that. And Zoro's just like, who are you talking to?
Zoro heard everything. And
Zoro's paying attention. And it's like, what? Audience? Anime? What are you going on about? I don't know most of those words that you just said. But so they get up to the top of the thing. They're fighting the Trump pirates. They get to the ship. Usopp gives everybody Usopp gives everybody their stuff back.
He blows up Skunk One.
Blows up Skunk One.
Yes.
Gives Sanji back his kick and kicks. And
his Crocs,
Soto gets his Crocs. Soto gets his swords back, and it's kind of a no contest. And then there's this secondary plot that just appears like halfway through them getting up the little thing. They're just like, oh yeah. It's there's a big giant gun. It's the super mega double cannon. It does lots of damage. Watch out for that.
King gun.
The king gun.
Really,
and the
really
gun,
quickly, you gave me a ridiculously dumb idea that will never happen. But I know we're not on the Guy Fieri centric podcast feed anymore, but if Guy Fieri was in One Piece, he would have shoes that are Crocs that were infused with the Croca no Mi. So he would have Crocs that were Crocs.
Yes.
He would. I mean, that's just logical.
I'm gonna go re-pour my alcohol. Thank you.
Okay, good call. Good call.
You earned that, Mark.
That is an absolute earn.
Oh, if I earned it, then I gotta cap it off with this.
There you go.
Thank you.
So they fire the king cannon. It misses. Yay. But Luffy realizes I'm not strong enough of a rubber man yet to beat somebody who's got a hard body. yet. So Luffy just sees, oh look, there's more bullets to this thing. Grabs one, turns it into a corkscrew, and blows up the island. Just blows up the
Yeah.
entire. The thing that they were trying not to do is like, we got to be careful. We got to be careful.
Oh,
Luffy,
by the way, don't break
Blo-
that key.
yeah, they're just like, be careful. If you break this, then everybody dies. And Luffy's just like, I didn't hear that last part.
Can I just reemphasize for us and the people listening at home and the randos in this One Piece movie that they involved the Straw Hats willingly.
Yeah, they literally was like, oh, this seems like a great idea.
They should have known that whatever they didn't want them to do was going to happen regardless.
Yep.
Yeah, makes sense.
They didn't
I'm
check
nodding.
the fine print in the contract that they were forcing them to sign.
Whatever you do, don't break the one thing.
So they win. They get all their stuff back. It turns out that what's his name?
Akitsu?
Akisu. They find out that Akisu's absolutely from this island. If his hair wasn't an absolute qualifier, because all of the people on this island's hair look like a corkscrew, because of course they do. And then the Straw Hats leave. Borodo leaves, but then it turns out Akisu was with those Straw Hat pirates, and Akisu's
I mean,
like, I wasn't going to stay with my lame parents anyway. I'm going to be
saying leave
free."
kind of glosses over the fact that the island collapses, and they're
Well, the thing is there's the island still. It's not like it got like eviscerated off the planet. There's still an island there, and they're actually still like the people who are on that island are like, all right, well, we just need to fix this, and that's the whole point. Is they're just like, well, we'll just clean it up, I guess. But everybody leaves. And it's just like, okay, cool, blah, blah, blah. And then the coolest part of the movie happens, which is the ending.
The credits.
Which during the credits, it's, it teases the Going Merry going through the Grand Line. We see teases of Vivi and Mr. 5, Miss Valentine, Mr. 3,
We
Miss
see
Golden
all of
Week.
all of the crocs, all the crocodiles, minions. And
we see Dalton, Walpole, Chopper, Smoker. We see our first shot of Ace, technically, ever in the anime.
And that's why the colorway is wrong.
Maroon Ace.
Yeah, they didn't have a official Oda color piece yet, so they just kind of did whatever they wanted. And they were vaguely correct, but also wrong.
And he's got a sweet sense of time dagger.
Yeah.
He did have a very Prince of Persia sense of time dagger going on. Then we also got, a little tease of Miss All Sunday herself, Nico Robin.
One second of Robin. Everybody else had at least a few, and then it was almost like, did you see that? Did you see that flash of frame? Wait, scroll back. Who is that? And
man, you're gonna have to see the movie again.
That's all I need. That's all I need. Just a second of Robin. That's all I need. Ever. that's all I need is just a second of Nico Robin, and it's just like, oh, cool. So it kind of felt like very neat, like that's the treat of this movie, given the time period that this came out.
If it was in theaters, it was probably, I don't even know if it was that long ago, if they would even advertise for it, but it would be
I actually did research on this in particular because it was a safe thing to look up. Okay. For a change, I could look up the movie. This was a double feature. This movie was a double feature with Digimon Adventure 02 Revenge of Diaboromon.
Oh my god.
Which that's why this movie is an hour long, because that movie is also super short.
Yeah.
So you had that back-to-backness of like it's because you can't just like sell a ticket to just like, oh, come and get this, because like what Revenge of Diaboromon is I
probably 45 minutes.
It's pretty short. This is the one where this is the second half of, or technically the third part of the American Digimon movie, where the first part is the pre-Digimon stuff, then the middle of it is the let's hack into the internet, and then we're gonna see wait, no, this is part two. Okay, yeah. This is where they I'm getting distracted by Digimon. This is the one where they hack into the internet
as one
like
does.
that. and it makes sense. Like having these two movies back to back makes sense in Japan. At the time would not make sense for an American audience because Clockwork Island is far more adult. There's a lot of blood. There's nudity, and then Digimon Adventure is just kind of like, you know,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
It's
Come
Digimon.
see.
It's an adventure.
Digimon.
It's the
Digi-
thing
yeah.
you're forced to watch before the One Piece movie.
No,
So,
the
okay.
thing that you're supposed to watch before the One Piece movie is Django's Dance Carnival, which was the short that was shown before this in Japan, which we've watched independently and are not talking
Yes.
about presently, but oh boy, is that a fun romp.
We'll get there.
Now
We'll get there.
that we've wrapped on this movie, can I just say my favorite thing about this movie?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Every single time that they emphasize Akitsu and Boruto's their bro relationship.
Hey, bro, what's up? What's up, bro?
To even though we've kind of already established in the series by this point that it's our crew is a found family, right? They've all meddled in a level of family affairs or affairs. Luffy has rather that they're kind of like a gaggle of found family. But every single time in this movie, at least, to emphasize that Luffy has some type of he can relate to their bro relationship is just these wistful shots of Shanks that I'm like, I don't know if I've ever considered Luffy considering Shanks as a
Bro, you're my
brother.
bro.
He's more of like he's just not he is a bro, but he's not like a bro mentor figure. It's just like, but they just like, I mean, also at this point in the story, who could say, maybe Shanks was. But I just love there's one shot I need to get as a GIF where it's like Luffy thinking about Shanks, and it's just this horizon of ocean with a floating, half disappeared face of Shanks who is smiling. And then across the screen, he turns away and he vanishes into the sky.
I
And
know
it's
the
such
exact shot you're talking about. It's just art.
It's such a weird. There's
It's
so many
good.
moments of this where you really do feel like they just gave sections out to different animators, and the director probably didn't clarify with everybody exactly the vision, and just was kind of like, yeah, we just need it done. So just do what you got to do. Because there's so many parts of this movie that feel like different people's homework assignments, and that is one of them. Or instead of like, let's just reuse footage from the show, they're like, we'll do you one better, and we'll completely animate this weird, wistful, like Shanks's top hits, like CD cover.
Shanks senior portrait.
Yeah, it's just like, it's always those, and also like Luffy's his pupils are always like the opposite of dilated in this film. Like they're like pinpoints, and so it's always like these wistful shots, and then like a close up of Luffy's face, and he's got these like itty bitty little eyes.
Maximum intensity.
Yeah, it's just so he's like. A lot of times in this movie, I'm just like, I know what they want me to feel, but I'm so far from this feeling that it's insane. Like at the very end, when they're finally our boy has come home, and
there he goes again.
There it is. There he goes.
We established that for your own good, baby child, that we Mosesed you away out into
we Mosesed you away
out
to
into
a criminal.
Actual ocean, because being out in the ocean and possibly drowning your child is much better than surviving but being unhappy on an island that is about to become overrun by pirates. But that they're like, all right, we did you thing. We have not established any time throughout this movie that we actually care about you. Even when we realized it was you, we didn't stop you from your probably
they realized
death.
It was their son immediately. They're just like, that's probably our kid. It's like, and there he goes.
And there he goes.
Awkward.
The scene cut just before they said, "You say that about every child that comes in here."
Yeah, exactly. Honey, I'm tired. I can't
by the way,
do this anymore.
I have to correct myself. Revenge of Diaboromon is the movie that happens after the American Digimon movie. There's 3 movies. That's movie 4, Revenge of Diaboromon. I don't even think really even came out to the States. I gotta correct myself
Incredible.
because I can't lose my anime cred here. I'm
Sure.
about to start JoJo, and I can't jeopardize this.
Sure.
'Cause
That's
I
fair.
can't jeopardize this for myself. I'm already like knee deep in this. I have cred now.
But between these, there's 2 I know for sure. Between these very wistful, I wonder what Monkey D. Luffy's thinking about while they talk about how much of a bro these guys are, and they're just these random shots of Shanks. It's like that, where it's, I don't know if they're trying to like install nostalgia, or that we as viewers who have read only a certain amount of One Piece that's been out so far get hyped for just like anybody even mentioning Shanks. But the opposite of that, where it's like wanting to show that like the pure emotion, like we're really gonna grip the audience with this one, is the really awkward, weird I am your mother moment at the very end, where it's just like the kid's like, I don't even know what parents are. I've been on the ocean for like probably 8 years.
Your hands are warm, so that's good enough for me.
It's just
He
this weird.
he literally just like, "You're my mom," and it's just like he even says it's like he says that's just like, Mom," and it's just like, where is the emotional earnedness
Yes,
here?
no, exactly. There's again, it's like it's this weird, like they could have just had the plot be they have the merry-go and we need to get it back, and kind of like meet people along the way and like have that be a C plot. But for some reason they made like the getting the going merry and fighting the bad guys thing like plot C, and then really heavily emphasize like whatever these 2 bros are up to, and then that ties into the B plot, which is this island that's been overtaken. And they both, they just like they do and they don't put any effort into the main story, where it's the points that they put emphasis on are the points where it's like they're just wasting time before Luffy can go fight the guy.
You're right. It's just like, okay, let's do stuff until Luffy shows up. And that's what this movie is. We're doing stuff until Luffy shows up. That's it.
It's also a similar pattern that they do a couple times in the show that I love, where it's like given the correct circumstances, the Straw Hat crew can just absolutely wreck. Like the Arlong fight, there's no it took so long to get to that fight that they didn't need to also like add in too many diversions in that fight to give them a disadvantage. It was just like, no, we're pissed and we're going to completely wreck you in like 3 chapters. And every single person that they've spent this long amping of like how strong they are, completely gone. And it's the same thing here, where it's like as soon as they get their weapons back, it takes less than a minute before they destroy every single one of them.
The secret was shoes.
Yeah, I like it's they don't do it very Oda doesn't do it very often, but it's one of those things that I love that you can just get so hyped for, where it's like, oh, you don't even know who you messing with, like you just wait, like you wait till Luffy gets there, you're done, it's happening.
You just wait till the guy who knows how to punch real hard shows up.
This
And
guy's
then
got
he's gonna
nothing to
punch you
lose.
really, really hard.
And this was even before he knew how to punch harder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Luffy's
this-
powers are I punch hard. Oh, wait, I can punch harder, but
And
we'll get there.
The very,
Lord,
very,
man.
very, very last thing I will say, and everybody else can just take the floor at this, in that same vein of like this forced emotional narrative that they're trying to like spoon feed us, but we're just kind of like, I'm allergic to that. And there's no. Just have you tried it though? Like, do you even know if you're really allergic? So it's the Shanks. It's this forced family plot that's really weird. And this third thing that they say 2 to 3 times in this movie that doesn't make sense to the overall theme of One Piece, which is like a one-liner that Luffy says and repeats, is if you don't stake your life, you can't make a future. Which doesn't make sense. Like, I kind of get what they're going for, but they need to like rephrase the you can't make a future. It's like if you don't stake your life, it's more of like, are you actually like fighting for what you want, I think is like a better way, and a really lazy way of phrasing it. But they say it so many times and they take a moment to be like, wow,
Yeah.
how poignant. Like, oh.
It's probably
Poignant.
Maybe it's just a bad translation of like, if you don't act like your life is on the line, then you're never going to advance. Like
It's
that.
a similar. It's like I'm trying to think
It's
of
just
when
very clunky.
there's a similar vein that we see in One Piece, and I'm trying to even think of like how they have previously phrased this type of thought, but it's just like I can't think of it right now, and it's just like every time they're like, if you don't stake your life, can you even make a future? And it's just like, what?
I just want a cup of coffee, man. I'm like,
It's just like, bro, we're surviving here. And he's like, yeah, but are you actually going to make a future?
But
like-
are you really living unless you're constantly about to die?
Like
Luffy.
even to that point, Molly, the stuff that they're talking about when it comes to Usopp and Akisu arguing about like what it takes to be a man, like that's a
Mhm.
theme that was carried into and away from, without the farts, of course, this movie of like fart sucking excluded. That theme of Usopp trying to be that brave warrior is at least an ongoing theme and something that
Yes.
tracks. Whereas Luffy's like, I have to be poignant once.
I have to say something deep, but it mean nothing.
But it's
once.
also, yeah, it's also
mean,
like Luffy is like the most non-judgmental character, and they gave him this line that's kind of judgy, where it's just kind of like,
It's
if
a
you don't,
Zoro line.
yeah, it's like, again, it's like I understand. There's like a couple other phrases I can think of in the show for specific situations that are similar to what they're trying to say here, but it's so far off the mark, right? Like it's like whenever anyone's like, I want to be a man, but I'm still 10, and it's just like, are
Only
you always
close.
gonna use being 10 as an excuse, kid? Are you gonna man
Ash
up?
Ketchum has, will, and continues to do so.
yeah, when are you gonna stab yourself in the face like I did?
There's, it's like, and like the Mugiwara kind of theme. It's like we aren't going to carry you, right? Like you're our friend and we'll do whatever we want, but we'll do everything we can for you. But there's like a level of like we expect
At some
the
point, you
same
need to
from
like,
you.
yeah. At some point, you need to like, if you're, part of the ship, part of the crew. Something we
Yeah.
keep like bringing up. It's like that's the straw hat motto is the fact that it's like if you're here, you're fighting for everybody. You're not
Yeah.
fighting for you, which means that if one of us is in trouble, we're all in trouble.
Right.
End of story.
If somebody maliciously attacks somebody in the crew, we will immediately avenge you. But
Right.
we also expect Nami and Usopp and Chopper to fight their own
Right.
battles.
Right. It's the point of and that's why and Usopp deals with that. Again, tying it back to what Mark was saying is like that's like something that Usopp like starts his journey with is like I have no business being here, but I'm gonna try anyway.
Yeah.
And that's the point and that's why I think that's the part of this movie that works is Usopp saying it's just like, look, I'm gonna prove to you that it matters to try. That's the best part of this movie is the simple fact that Usopp is like that's like Usopp's through line is even if he doesn't believe it himself, when he says it out loud, he will do it.
But it's like even that thought is a separate thought from
And the
what
whole then
Luffy
the
is
rest of the movie,
saying.
right? It's just like it's so detracted from everything else. It's like
that's why I'm just like that's my thing. It's just like what they make Luffy say is sort of, but not really similar in veins to things that like actually make sense to either characters or our
canon.
crew or this and that. And it's just one of those weird, I don't know. And this has been almost 20 years for me. That line specifically has stuck in my head, right next to Usopp and the gas guy.
Yes.
So
Imagine a screenshot of Usopp's lips on that nozzle, and then overlaid
With the
like,
quote
yeah,
italicized.
instead of like live, love, laugh, it's if you don't stake your life, you can't make a future.
so
Hang
so
in there.
I think my final note on this movie, and then I'm gonna throw my hands up in defeat, is it felt like when they were making this movie, they read the cliff notes of One Piece. They're just like, yeah. Nami girl, Chopper doesn't exist yet, but he's doctoring somewhere. Zoro, sort of like a samurai, I guess.
No swords
Sanji
for that guy.
feet.
Sanji
Feet.
will do anything for Nami.
Luffy, no brains. Okay, and we've written a movie, and they it really is just like if I wrote a One Piece movie before I started watching One Piece with the information that I had on hand. And I was just like, this is about the movie I would have written.
See, now I'm tempted for somebody who's read and watched One Piece as long as I have. Now I'm like, and I've seen almost all of the movies. Do I challenge myself to write a good One Piece movie?
Oh my god, is that like our final project?
We gotta okay. Well, I mean, there's we could write a fanfic, right?
I professionally call it a script.
Yeah, but we're not gonna make it, so it's a fanfic, Molly. Come on, we'll just
What if
pop
I
it onto.
Can I?
We'll just pop it onto AO3 and call it a day.
No, I had two words that may entice folks. Radio play.
Oh, okay.
You do know some voice actors.
If I know some, yeah. Let me.
Just a handful.
No,
Sorry,
don't worry.
just-
I wonder.
Just like the background noise of Al's dog howling. It was just very much like it felt like an audience track of just like
Don't you dare.
If you happen to know some voice actors, yeah, I could probably pull some strings.
Anyway, the rest. Mark, Al, what are your thoughts?
Well, I
on
had
the
a
movie?
question for everybody, just because this in the trivia of this movie, it is mentioned that this is the only movie that Oda has not mentioned
Oh, I saw
watching or
that.
commented on, and I think
Yes.
that's funny. But other than that, if you could make one of the Trump Pirates canon, like they pop up in a future canon sort of aspect, who would you pick?
Honey Queen.
Of course.
Honey
you
Queen,
would.
Honey Queen for a reason, because there is another devil fruit user that comes in during Annie's lobby that I
Mhm.
would love to see them fight.
Oh man, that would just be a fan service episode.
Yeah, but it would be listen.
Oh, I thought we were talking about the giraffe.
thinking about both of those two female devil fruit users' powers fighting each other, that'd be fun. That would be
if
a
I may.
fun fight.
Ara ara.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think in that same vein, Caden, I think it would be interesting. I know who I'd want to come back. I'm just going to segue this really quick. I think it would be very interesting for the group, the CP9 group that we see in Water 7 Enos Lobby. If in some weird like short story that Oda decided to do, a filler, whatever you want to call it, came up against the Trump Pirates, because we've got somebody who is
The hard body. Yeah.
and so that it would be King Bear or Bear King versus that guy, and then Honey Queen versus that lady.
Who would you pick? You can it's like so if I got to pick Honey Queen for that same reason, you picked Bear King, who of the CP9 folks would you have picked
For what?
to fight Bear King?
Well, I can't remember his name right now, but the guy who we've already established has a similar fruit than him.
I mean,
Well, they all have Tekai. They all
Well, yeah,
have
the
the
Tekai is
body
the-
hardening thing.
yeah. hard
Not
body.
yeah, but it's the guy who very specifically has the God. I'm literally
What does their hair look like?
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
bull. The bull.
Oh no, he's got the door fruit.
The bull?
Who am I
Yeah,
thinking?
Bluno. Bluno's got
Bluno,
the
yeah,
fruit
the
that
door
opens up
fruit.
the doors into an alternate dimension.
I thought
He
there was
opens-
But
somebody
his
who-
round
his
doors.
specialty is the hard body stuff.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So yeah,
Its
I would,
specialty is the hard body stuff. Though you could potentially just go with like if you want to do like the animal on animal violence, you could go with Kaku or Jabra. Jabra I think would work.
this is sorry. Can I just say this is very on brand for me too. That I specifically go out of my way to not remember character names for people who I do not care about.
That's fair.
Because
But
most of CP9 I know Kaku, but I don't know anybody else because I just hate them so much.
Straight up.
we'll get there, and they're
Mm.
probably the ones I hate the most. But
So
again,
far.
so far.
But
Um,
I will say my actual answer to that question, Mark, is I would want to see Pin Joker again for the same thing that I said earlier, that he reminds me of somebody on Buggy's crew. And I feel like he has the temperament and the weird quirk and the
You can see him getting picked up by Buggy.
by Bucky, and the same thing that like Bucky and them hate Luffy, but they also know who Zoro is. So then it would be like they have a similar
Double
agenda.
rivalry.
Yeah,
Raison d'etre.
you
I
hate
love
Luffy, I hate Zoro. They're part of the same crew. Like, let's team up, and we're on brand.
It also
And
echoes
we're
back
on
to
brand.
something. It also echoes back to something that has kind of fallen off in the sense of, oh wait, Zoro's a pirate hunter, and he's interacted with all of these different swordsmen. Whatever, he's just Luffy's crewmate at this point. And I think bringing that back around to being like, no, all right, if you want to be the greatest swordsman, you have to go through more people. And similar to you, Molly, I would pick Pin Joker as well. But Al, what about you? Who would you pick?
Okay, probably unpopular choice, but I feel like
Don't say fart sucker.
Skunk One coming back
Usopp?
and like you saw how the army of the Trump pirates reacted to him showing up. It's like, oh shit, we're gonna die. Like having him show up again. You see Usopp and he runs away while having an army of people that are terrified of him would be just a great One Piece moment of like,
that's true.
what?
I think real One Piece, I would say Pin Joker, but I as a fan, I think I agree with Al, where like I would love if it's like, oh man, like Luffy, you got to get out of here. Like there's this guy who's like looking for you guys, and he's killed everyone he's like come in contact with. It's like a really big deal. And then it's like the shadow silhouette reveal where it's like, who is this guy? Like, huh? And then it's like this guy. I would die. I would die if it's like we're at chapter 1000 whatever right now, and it's just like we're this far along in the story, and it's like your old nemesis has shown up, and like
no body, no death.
Mark
no body, no death.
Mark and Al are just like, is it Buggy? It's got to be Buggy, right? And then the
Still waiting for Buggy to come back.
The shadowed silhouette goes away, and it's this guy. I would I would lose it.
Nigel Thornberry ass.
I would cry.
Listen, give me the fan service fight. I want Khalifa and I want Honey Queen to fight. Just because I know, like, giving that fight to Oda would have fun with it. Like, Oda would have a great time with that. And I want to give that back to him.
By that time, too,
as a treat.
People often get redesigned when they come back to show the passage of time. They usually have a different design. So then he could redesign these people, too.
Yep. Well, I think that we've talked longer than the movie.
We have.
Oh, no!
And if you tack on the Django short, we've talked about that too. We have sort of a general idea of what movies we're going to hit next and in what order. But if there's any sort of a demand for us to see one that is
not
series appropriate, crew appropriate, I would like throw it to us. Make sure to hit us up on Twitter at Yayo Talk Show. But I think we should. That's a very good point. We should stop. We've given this so much time, and we didn't even like delve into was naming them the Trump Pirates a thing. What anyway?
We're not going to do that.
No,
we're not going to do that.
So instead, we are going to bid you adieu. But before we do that, make sure that you follow us on all of our respective social media accounts. And let's, Al, where can the folks find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Al McClelland Jr. And if you look up Al McClelland, you'll probably find all my other stuff too.
Caden.
You can find me at Caden Jensen, KDINJENZEN on Twitter and pretty much every other social media.
You can find me at Mark Bidonica, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and Molly. Where can the folks find you?
Just Twitter. Just find me on Twitter.
Good luck.
TEHFLOOD.
Nailed it.
Wow, I had to think about that for a second.
And by the way, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Yayo Talk Show.
That's part of the outro. I got it.
You got it, but 41 followers? We need more followers.
Well, by now it's probably in the
like
8,000.
45.
Yeah. Going along with how most arcs, sagas, I guess not movies because those aren't canon. Now that you've listened to the episode, you've joined the crew. With that comes the responsibility of telling your friends, leaving a comment, following us on Twitter, and a litany of other social media accounts that we haven't even talked about yet at Yayo Talk Show, and letting Caden watch the show in peace. So come aboard, and we'll see you next time on Yayo Talk Show.
Talking about One Piece.